Welcome to Creating Calm Parenting with Mind, Body, and Spirit. I am Corinne Cayce, your co-host. I'm an integral leadership coach, a mother of two, and a lifelong student of the Edgar Cayce readings. And I'm here with my friend and co-host, Dr. Arlene DiJamco. Good morning, Arlene.
Hi, Corinne. Good morning, everyone. It's Dr. Arlene DiJamco. I'm an integrative physician, a pediatrician, and a cranial osteopath, and a mom of four. And we've got a great topic for you today. It is about back to school home remedies, but we're going to go through a day in the life of us and our kids. So this is going to be a very candid conversation. We're going to go through what really happens, what we are implementing in that busyness of the day, and how to carve out moments with our kids, how to help boost their immune systems, how to help all those little problems that they may come to you for, whether it's in the morning, the afternoon, or the evening. So we're going to get to it. And just before we dive into that, Corinne is going to walk us through our opening meditation.
Yes. So, such a busy time in the life of so many families. I know so much happening in all different directions. So, if you can close your eyes for a moment, do, or just let your attention come inward. And if it's possible for you to cross your arms over your chest, like you're giving yourself a hug with your eyes closed, please do. And then just gently tap your right hand and then your left hand. So, pat, 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 opposite hand to opposite arm while your eyes are closed. And take 3 deep breaths as you do this. All right. Thank you so much. Here we are in the midst of a busy fall. So, as Arlene mentioned, we're going to be diving into how do we stay healthy, grounded, and connected during the swirl and busyness of the school year as it kicks off. To help us guide that conversation, we're going to use some excerpts from the Edgar Cayce readings, as we often always do. This first one comes from reading 3954-1. And the question coming from a mother says, how can I best help my 6 children become part and parcel of the kingdom of God on earth? And the beginning of the answer that comes through is by just living and being that you would ask each of them to be, better by precept or example, not by what you say, but by what you are. And the second one comes from 281-3, and it says, individual attuning to their soul consciousness to the divine within must attune according to their own development. So, with that sort of the wide spiritual view of what it is that's happening here and how we can best guide and support our children into the nitty-gritty, moment by moment, how we live through this time. And I know for me and Arlene as well, it is such a busy time in our families' lives. Our children's activities and sports are up and going. Their school life is really thriving. Our own work is going. There's lots of different colds and viruses and sicknesses that are moving around because we've all been in school for a while together and at work. So we're balancing that on top of everything else. And there's just a lot happening on all different levels. So I know for myself, it's super this idea that so many mothers, parents have, caregivers have, this idea of the kit, the home remedy kit, that when things start to get messy, start to get hairy, someone starts to get sick, what is it that you go to, that little ablutions kit that you have that has everything that you need to handle what it is that's going on. So if we were to take that from the perspective of the Edgar Cayce readings, when you notice your children are starting to get run down or there's something happening with them physically, emotionally, that is triggered and it's alive, for as a student of the Edgar Cayce readings, where's our kit that we go to? What do we kick into gear with to start caring for them and really tending to them? And so we wanted to offer that kit through walking through a day, a school day. Let's take a Wednesday morning. You wake up and everyone's being pulled in all their different directions. how do we pay attention and care for what it is that's happening in our family's life? So we start with everyone waking up on Wednesday morning. Yeah?
Mhm.
On typical Wednesday morning. What starts to happen? Yeah. So, Arlene, I know you have an ideal
Well
scenario of this and a real life scenario.
well, I know I have 4 kids, and they're in 4 different schools: elementary, middle, high school, and college. So, of
Uh-huh.
course, my college one is off on her own, and then we have 3 different start times for school. And
Mhm.
so, fortunately, my husband and I are able to tag team on this and getting all the kids to school, and it
Mhm.
can vary, right? Some days they have to get there earlier than other days, depending on their activities. And so it tends to be a flurry of activity from the moment everyone gets up. And
Mhm.
I know my little one, she likes to have more time to get ready. The youngest and the middle one, they like to get up a little bit earlier and have their routine of getting ready. And then my high school one, she's usually like ready in a blink and then out the door. So it's it's difficult to know exactly how to get everyone nourished, because a lot of my kids, they're not really so hungry in the morning, but at least getting them some fluids, getting them hydrated is one of the best things you could do, because we we go through a whole, about like 12-hour period, if you're getting a good night's sleep, where you're not drinking. So the first thing in the morning is that you need to hydrate. So getting the best quality water that you can, whether it's filtered or spring water. If you can put some lemon in it to alkalize it, that's another bonus. If for myself, I'll do some lemon water with a splash of apple cider vinegar. You get some great probiotics in that apple cider vinegar, and that's also helps to soften the bile in the liver and the gallbladder, and that alkalizing quality of the lemon. But you can do something simple too with the water. It's just to hold it and think good intentions and thoughts and mantras, sending love to the water, so that when you drink it, you're nourishing yourself energetically as well with these good thoughts and intentions, because we are mostly water, and we're 99% of the molecules in our body are water, and we're about 60% water by weight. So just infusing ourselves with that goodness even before the food is so important. And
Mhm.
I know, Corinne, you have some breakfast ideas that you
Great.
will do with
So,
your family.
yes, and we start with a flurry as well. Children going to different schools, needing different amounts of time. I will try and get myself into the kitchen a little bit earlier ahead of them so that I can kind of prep. So, Arlene mentioned the acid alkaline balance, which is just a core principle in the Edgar Cayce readings for staying healthy. The more alkaline our system is, the less possible it is for congestion to build up, for bacteria and viruses to sort of set in. And so I really take that opportunity first thing in the morning to try and help us all alkalize as much as possible. That means I'm putting out water, putting lemon in it for the children, that the ones of us who will tolerate that, giving them fruit, right, to start off with, giving them orange juice, right, to start off with, and having that out and ready for them so that they have as much time as possible in the morning to be engaging with that hydration, alkalizing process, and doing that for myself as well. And then setting out, starting to make their lunches and setting out whatever they'll be able to eat. What I'm holding in mind as I'm starting to make their lunches is that the readings recommend ideally lunch is where we can get as much raw vegetables and fruits as possible. And that is a huge alkalizing force as well. So for each of them, I'm thinking, what fruits and vegetables will they eat today? Do I have in my refrigerator that will be easy for them to eat, that they enjoy, and that will also bring that alkalizing? And then I'm thinking of proteins and carbs and what they're going to eat so that they'll have the energy that they need throughout the day, and making their lunch boxes as they are doing that. Some mornings we'll start with a smoothie, and that is the huge alkalizing force there. I will put as many fruits that they don't eat whole as possible. So that bananas and mango and passion fruit will often go in there for me. I'm using coconut water and orange juice as a base, really remembering that the Edgar Cayce readings encourage us to keep dairy and citrus separate. So if I'm going citrus, I'm going citrus hard. If I'm going dairy, I'm staying more over there. If there are colds, as there are right now, I'm generally staying away from dairy and more sweets because those are mucus forming. So I'm trying to minimize that. And that's kind of the breakfast flow that's happening for us. Then in terms of substance that they're actually eating, like Arlene mentioned, so one of my children will eat more in the morning, one will eat less. That's kind of impacted as well by how stressed and distracted they are by the things that they have to do at school that day, whether there's homework due or tests due or sporting events that are getting to happen that are kind of impacting their wellness. The other thing that I will say that I try and really do every morning is to put my arms around them and to hold them close to me. And not for a long amount of time, up to 10 seconds is enough. But that moment, those moments of connecting where I'm feeling their little beating hearts right against me, I'm kissing the top of their head and I'm wrapping my arms around them, are just kind of, I feel like as a parent of preteen and teenagers now, where there's so much happening, really trying to hold for myself, when are those moments, as small or big as they are, where we are connected? There's not a distraction of a screen or homework or anything like that, and where I'm able to just connect with them. So that's kind of the morning that I'm prioritizing my Cayce toolkit in the morning. I'm alkalizing, I'm physically connecting with them. I'm thinking about how to give them good stuff that they need for lunch. And I'm thinking about how to move the emotions through whatever it is that's happening with normalizing it. So I'm not trying to figure anything out with them. Usually when it's super fast in the morning and a lot is going on, I'm just letting it all pass through and be okay and not problem solve, because we're in a tight time frame. Hard to do conflict on a tight time frame. So really just like letting them process whatever it is that's coming through and moving us toward getting where we need to be in the time that we have. So that's what stands out for me in the morning. What about, is there anything else you want to add to that, Arlene, before we jump into?
Yeah, I mean, I love what you said just about that, giving them that nice big hug in the morning, because we know that actually it sends out feel-good hormones and oxytocin and connection. So there's actually a physiological response when you're doing that.
Yeah.
I know that, so, some of mine during various times have had some nervous jitters going back to school, or if they've been out for a little bit, or even after a holiday. So if they have some nervous indigestion or nervous jitters, then a really neat Cayce remedy is doing some honey, a little spoonful, even a half a spoonful of honey, and even better if you have honeycomb, and plus or minus and some activated charcoal. So you could get it in powder form and mix it into something, or you could take it in capsule depending on the age of your kid. But that is one of my go-to remedies that I learned from the Cayce readings for nervous indigestion. And that's something that I'll see like first thing in the morning if there are any nervous jitters. And then if they have like any test or anything that they need to have some extra focus on, I like to use some lemon balm, either lemon balm tea or lemon balm tincture, and that can help both calm and help with focus. It's a very simple thing to do. And yeah, elderberry syrup or elderberry gummies this time of year is a great thing to incorporate, something really easy. It tastes great, has a great boost of antioxidants. And then just circling back around to what we were talking about, that alkaline diet and needing to move all the lymph. So this time of year, as we're moving into the fall, then our metabolism will start to shift, and we need to get used to that too. But we're also prone to coughs and colds and congestion. So if you have any kind of congestion, you know that your body's a little bit more acidic. Or if you're feeling, for parents, like just a little bit more swollen, or if you're waking up and you're feeling like your face is a bit more puffy, or puffiness around the eyes, sinuses, then you also, those are just physical signs of like how, what is a more acidic pH in the body versus more alkaline, and it is a balance. But those would be some flags for you to encourage you to add more alkaline foods and drinks to your diet. And yeah, it's like our body is always this constant compass to tell us what's going on.
And that's
So
an
we get
important
through the
thing to know.
morning.
Yeah, so we're at the morning, everyone goes about their day, we're at
Uh-huh.
school, hopefully, we're at work,
Yep.
everyone's holding everyone's holding the routine through, and then everyone's coming home. They're coming home at different times. Those hours between 4 and 7 can often be 3 and 7 maybe are really chaotic in families. Children are needing to get lots of different places, different times, different whatever. We're moving in, we're moving out. They've had a lot of experiences at school, social, emotional, physical, all these different things. And so I think coming home, whenever they're coming home, having a little bit of time to kind of feel, to just like let it go, just like not need to do anything, not need to begin into anything, just have an exhale really when we first come home. So that can look a million different ways depending on your children and what their needs are, and certainly for yourself as well, letting it really be okay to have a moment just to exhale and come in and land before we engage with the next thing. And if your child is introverted or extroverted, or you are, that can look different ways, and that's okay. And just, but still sort of paying attention to what does screen time look like within that? Is that helpful or harmful for yourself, for others? How can we really be proactive with creating separation from screen time as we need it? Like for teenagers, the more that we kind of empower them to know this is what works for me, this is what doesn't, and then be
Mhm.
proactive in making that choice. I'm going to leave my phone at the door, or I'm going to take my phone back to my room for half an hour, and then I want to put it in the basket on the table so that I can have some space. But just having some clarity and transparent, open conversation around what works and what doesn't work, and letting that happen. And then having a snack that is enjoyable and easy. That's another time I'll often have smoothies if we haven't had them in the morning, or just something nurturing and easy to digest and to sort of ground and come in. Sometimes they don't want to eat right away, and that's fine. Or having a little sweet treat. I know for my son, he will often like a sweet treat when he comes home, and that's just like helps him settle in. And so we'll have that ready for him there. And then this is a great time to often kind of check in and see, like, where are you hurting? I know they're like running, and
Mhm.
there's sometimes contact, and there's things that are going on. And like the great things in my tool chest, and I know Arlene as well, are castor oil. I can put castor oil on, let's see, for my daughter, she's running track right now. So there's like an ingrown toenail area that I'm putting castor oil and a little thing on, to a little band-aid on, to help it go away. Or I'll often use calendula as well. If there are bruises or sprains or strains, their castor oil pack can go around there. And during that vegging out time is a great time to work with a castor oil pack. Just wrap up the knee, wrap up the shin, put it up on a pillow,
Mhm.
let them have some iPad time or do whatever as they restore. And arnica, another great thing for bruises specifically as well. So just kind of checking into the physical body, where you're suffering, where you are in pain. If there's that anxiety or upsetness that Arlene was talking about that can sometimes be present, a castor oil pack can be a great on the belly during that resting time too, can just
Mhm.
help and settle. Or the base of the spine on the back is another great spot for it to go, and that's just helping their body, their nervous system settle into being home.
Yeah, and if they have any of those minor sports injuries, bumps, bruises, very minor sprains, and arnica is great, whether topical, homeopathic, or homeopathic doses of arnica. And I mean, this still time is so important. There's it's just after school is a time to have a lot of grace for your child because they might have been holding it themselves together, maybe not throughout the
Mhm.
day, but when they get home, you are their safety, you're part of their safety nest, and so they need to be able to just, like, let out any emotions that they've been, not able to process through the day,
Mhm.
so let them be however they are, give them some, time, take care of those basic needs, food, water, rest, and give them that unscheduled free time so that they feel that they have some control over their day because our kids are so scheduled out. I mean, all of mine are so many activities and they want to have these activities and it's fun for them, but at the same
Mhm.
time they need the balance of having a free time to themselves to be able to unwind, and this is how they get to reconnect with themselves, reconnect with the stillness and that divine within them because it's that still small voice inside. And so if they're constantly going and buzzing, it's hard for them to maintain that kind of connection. So yeah, so
Yeah,
that afternoon is part of that.
totally. And just to zoom out to build on what you were saying, Arlene, because it is so important just to zoom out to a larger week, maybe before we jump back into the end of our day, is looking for those still times in a week when and by
Mhm,
still I mean when the family can just be together and not have other things going on. So
mhm,
really kind of recognizing whether that's a Sunday morning or a Sunday afternoon or a Friday evening, like when are the times when you, and this I think as parents we need to kind of intentionally be saying no or setting a boundary there, or we can often just
mhm,
get overscheduled. And that causes a lot of stress for parents as well, right? Of just making sure
mhm,
that the kids are where they said they would be at all the right time can become a week can just roll into another week unless we really are able to kind of claim this is time where we're not going to have anything else going on. And sometimes that can be scary for parents, like
mhm.
unscheduled time, what's going to happen?
Right.
And just kind of, and so maybe loosely kind of holding, maybe we want to, we're going to make breakfast. We're going to make breakfast. We're going to have breakfast. And then we're going to do something around the house together, or we're all going to
Mhm,
do our own thing in whatever way
mhm,
that looks. But we're just going to be together and really, ideally, looking to limit screen time for everyone during that time.
mhm,
This amazing experience yesterday evening where we lost power during
mhm,
from like 8 to 9:30 in the evening. And so we were finishing dinner, still kind of sitting around the table talking, and it got pitch dark all of a sudden, right? And we and so we had to acclimate to that really quickly, like find
mhm,
candles and flashlights and turn the lights on our phone and everything. But it was just after that kind of nervousness and excitement, it was really a relief to no one could get on their phone. No one could finish their homework on their computer, no, because we didn't have internet.
mhm,
So it was just down, and just to see everyone, there was just a level of relaxation that happened. And I think and then, it came back on in time for us to do the dishes and finish up and everything, but the children just, like, found each other in a new way and were
mhm,
talking because I think often we don't even realize the pressure of, "I will get on my phone, I will get back on my computer, I will check this or do this or finish this or play this or talk to this person or do whatever," and when that's taken off the table, your body settles in a different way. So,
mhm,
really imagining maybe we can find those times where we're just gonna commit putting it down, and what does that look like, and how can we do it together? All of us, not just
mhm.
the kids, but
Yes.
everyone kind of putting it down
Yeah.
for a while. Yeah.
Including them in the conversation for whatever you're trying to figure out, and at different ages, they can, contribute more and more to figure out, "How do I carve out that downtime? How do I carve out stillness?" And
Yeah.
then even for us, like, getting into the evenings of making, dinners, certain days of the week are a lot busier than others because everyone has activities all at the same time,
Right.
but it's really neat because even my youngest, who's in elementary school in 5th grade, she notices sometimes when everyone is busy and we're needing to get dinner together. One night she surprised us with making dinner all on her own, and she had called me to see, like, "Mommy, what time are you gonna get home?"
Oh.
Because she wanted to make sure it was hot and, like, ready right when I got home, and I thought that was incredible. I mean, it
Yeah.
doesn't happen every night, but it was to me, like, I was like, wow, you really just do have to be what you would like hope for them to be as well, because they see, the care that you take for them,
Yeah.
and putting meals together, and helping everyone. And then
Yeah.
even when you're busy, of course, like carving out time for them. And so then to be able to be on the other end of that and to receive that back from them is
Mm.
really amazing,
Yeah.
and very rewarding. And again, it's not going to be like that every day, but you get those glimpses, and you can really celebrate them for yourselves as parents and as a family.
Yeah.
But we've gotten to some great evening routines, and this is from our conversations, Corinne. It's amazing. Like, I'm celebrating this podcast and these talks with you, and combing through the readings, and extracting as much as we can out of them. So we have been, with my youngest, I've been regularly incorporating these pre-sleep suggestions, which she
Mhm.
expects now. And so I've been doing it by running my fingers down her spine to just infuse. So she just calls it a massage. And so we've come up with our own version of pre-sleep suggestions. And so I'll just do it more telepathically, like thinking and feeling, instead of like running a to-do list while mindlessly running my fingers down her back. I'll be actively with her, like really present and thinking,
Mhm.
loving thoughts with her, like, I
Mhm.
love you no matter what. You can do hard things. Tomorrow is going to be an amazing day. You're gonna, and just like setting the stage for whatever she has for
Mhm.
the next day. And
Mhm.
and that's worked amazingly well. And it's true what it says in the readings, like, be consistent, and it will build over time, because it is after months of doing it that you can see there's been such a big shift. And
Mhm.
maybe from day to day you didn't quite notice it, but through the lens of time, it's
Mhm.
it's really rewarding to see that, oh, these kinds of efforts done consistently, just a small
Totally.
thing done consistently, because it's just maybe 5 minutes that I'm doing that, and
Right.
she loves
Right.
it.
Yes. And that is one of the slippery things about working with any sort of holistic remedy, right? That it's subtle often
Mhm.
and takes persistence and consistency in order to see a change, and that the change can be
Uh-huh.
slow enough that you think, was it this? Is this making a difference? But if you really mark and look back, you can often tell. And pre-sleep suggestion is one of the most powerful tools that we have as parents that comes through the readings in terms of helping our children deal with the hard things, the upsetting things happening in their lives, helping them grow into their true selves and who they know themselves to be. This is a tool that I share with so many mothers in my own life who are open to the idea and are sharing stories such similar to what you're saying, Arlene, in terms of there's a certain challenging thing that they're working with, especially mentally, and spending just a little bit of time as they go to bed, bringing in touch is amazing. But it's not necessary, like Arlene is saying, is so important to just really uh, have it be shaped to what works for you
Mhm.
and your child, finding the words that really touch them and will help them relax and be there. And using really clear, affirming language, including their name of, you will let go of all fear and anxiety will leave your body and the energy that surrounds your body. You will rest so deeply and peacefully, and really bringing that forward and imagining what tomorrow will be like for them, whether you're saying it out loud or just thinking it and really feeling it and sending it to them, is such a powerful way to end the day.
Mhm.
Absolutely one of the key tools to go in your home remedy toolkit in terms of working with pre-sleep suggestion, both for yourself and for your children when anything is feeling hard. An extreme go-to. Before they're falling asleep, another absolute go-to in my household is if doing doing the head and neck exercises that we've talked about here many times, where you're bringing chin to chest standing. We'll all stand, and I'll do it with them, which is, part of what I've usually done it a couple times already throughout the day, but you can't do it too many. So bringing chin to chest 3 times, raising chin to the sky 3 times, right ear to right shoulder 3 times, left ear to left shoulder 3 times, clockwise rolling of the head 3 times, counterclockwise 3 times, standing, feet grounded on the floor, looking straight ahead, helping your shoulders stay relaxed while that happens, just settling the body in. Both of my children take to that really easily right now. Also, the final thing that I would say is sort of essential if you're taking 3 evening toolkit things is glycothymoline as part of your routine, whether that's gargling with glyco before bed, putting 3 drops of glyco in a little bit of water that you're drinking before bed to help. This is huge alkalizing, helping. Putting glyco on a Q-tip and really gently cleaning the inside of the nostrils on each side while you inhale to help really just clean out congestion and help your body alkalize as much as it can before you go to bed. That's what I would say we're working with on a nightly basis in our house.
I love that, Corinne. And the last thing I want to add, because I don't get to do the pre-sleep suggestions with all my kids, running my hands down their spines, which another one mentioned that, hey, how come I don't get a massage every night? But I do actually say to myself, so once I've gotten the youngest one to sleep, I'll actually like say to each of them, because they're doing the older ones are doing their own thing. I'll just kind of communicate with them just on a soul to soul level, the same kinds of intentions that I'll say to my little one, just even in my mind, I'll say to them, just soul to soul and trusting that they're receiving that somehow, even though, especially like my college age girl, of course I'm not going to be with her, but so that they're receiving these good vibes and good intentions from you as their parent, no matter what age they are.
Yeah. Great. Thank you so much for that, Arlene. So there's our day. There's our Cayce home remedy kit for being in a super active fall routine with lots of viruses and stuff moving through and staying grounded and connected to body, mind, spirit, hopefully. And we hope that you feel a lot of openness to make this your own, kind of hearing the themes and finding what works for you and being there with your children. But thank you so much, Arlene, for this conversation. As always, so good to touch in and clarify and keep ourselves in attunement.
Thanks, Corinne. I love talking with you. And thanks, everyone, for being here with us.